The mother of a Southwest Missouri murder victim reacts to the sentence handed down to the killer. Local reaction to Juneteenth becoming a federal holiday.
Monster truck madness comes to Miami, but what does it take to actually get behind the wheel of one of these things? You're going to find out coming up.
The 4 states most watched news starts now.
The mother of a 2019 shooting victim says it feels good to finally see justice served. This is KOAM News at 10. A judge yesterday sentenced Ricky Lamb to life in prison with the possibility of parole for killing Sarah Tominski. The crime happened in Newton County on June 17th of 2019. Tominski's mother, Mary Jo Curtis, says getting justice for Sarah has been a long time coming, 2 years. And while no one can bring Sarah back, it does help to see Lamb get sentenced.
It'll be a little bit easier, if you want to say that. Less to worry about. We know what's done is done. It's not going to bring her back. But we know, like you said, we got justice for her. And that means a lot.
Curtis says that yesterday she was awarded full custody of Tominski's daughters. Now they'll go back to Michigan so her granddaughters can start fresh. Jasper County Sheriff's Office is asking for help after some ATM thefts or attempted thefts in the 4-state area. Sheriff's Office says the thefts seem to be happening between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. at banks with external ATMs. Usually the thieves steal a truck and then use a chain to pull open the machines. You should call the Jasper County Sheriff's Office if you see anything suspicious near ATM machines. A prosecutor in Bourbon and Allen counties in Kansas accused of misleading juries has resigned from her positions in both counties. A disciplinary board this month recommended the Kansas Supreme Court disbar Jackie Spradling because of her, quote, win at all costs attitude. Now Spradling is resigning as assistant county attorney in Allen County and as county attorney in Bourbon County. Checking in with Doug Heddy now for a first look at the weather.
All right, Dow, still hot, still humid for us. Hot and humid all week long, and it's going to stay this way as we go into the Father's Day weekend. Temperatures are going to be right back up into the mid-90s, kind of like what we saw today. Officially 93, 87 is our average high. Record on this date is 100, set back in 1952. But we're quiet. Had a couple random little guys pop up near Table Rock, but everybody else looks pretty good. We got storms mainly to our north. This is where they're going to stay the next couple days. We have a tropical system down across southeastern parts of the U.S., but back here at home, it's pretty quiet. It's also pretty warm. Most of us are still sitting into the lower 80s. In fact, even after 10 o'clock, we have a heat index of 85 to 90 degrees. So it's hot, it's muggy, it's going to stay that way as we go through the overnight hours tonight. Back to 95 once again for us tomorrow afternoon. But we do get some relief. We're going to look at that here in a bit.
All right, see you then. President Biden signs a bill into law establishing Juneteenth as a national holiday. The day commemorates the end of slavery in the United States. The law takes effect immediately and will be celebrated today, June 18th, as it is the closest weekday to June 19th. One area woman with a personal connection to the holiday says she's happy to have the holiday added along with Emancipation Day.
We can celebrate the Emancipation Day that we have always celebrated in August, and also celebrate Juneteenth. Again, Juneteenth is a national holiday, and as such, there's more stories to be told.
She says descendants of enslaved people shouldn't be limited to celebrating freedom for just one day. With about 16 days to go until July 4th, the nation's moving within striking distance of President Biden's goal of having 70% of adults at least partially vaccinated. Now he's making a plea to Americans to help make it happen. Natalie Brand has more.
President Biden urged Americans to pick up the pace.
If you haven't gotten vaccinated yet, get vaccinated now.
While the president touted progress of 300 million COVID-19 shots in arms in his first 150 days in office,
65% of American adults have gotten at least one shot.
Reaching the administration's goal of having 70% of U.S. adults with at least one dose by July 4th may be a close call. Only 15 states and the District of Columbia have surpassed that threshold, while many, especially in the Deep South, remain far behind. Vice President Kamala Harris visited Georgia Friday, where the state's rate remains under 50%.
It's also about love thy neighbor. Right? And that is what the vaccine is about too.
A message especially important as the Delta variant, first detected in India, is now reported in 49 states. Health experts believe it's on pace to become the dominant strain.
It's a variant that is more easily transmissible, potentially deadlier, and particularly dangerous for young people.
A recent study found one dose of the Pfizer vaccine is only about 33% effective against the Delta variant, while both doses offer about 88% protection.
The millions of people who now have only gotten one dose are at risk, especially against these variants, especially against the Delta variant.
The Biden administration also announced plans this week to invest more than $3 billion to speed up development of an antiviral pill to treat COVID-19 and other viruses that could cause future pandemics. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
A new poll from the Associated Press Newark Center for Public Affairs Research finds just 21% of Americans are now very or extremely worried about COVID-19 infection in their inner circle, and many are relaxing precautions they took earlier in the pandemic. A new study shows people infected with COVID-19 may experience some loss of gray matter in the brain. Study out of the UK indicates the areas of the brain affected are the ones that control smell and taste. That finding correlates with the most commonly reported symptoms of COVID-19, the loss of smell and taste. The relatively small study followed 782 people who had MRI scans 3 years apart, before and after the pandemic. While researchers believe the findings are compelling, they have not been authenticated by peer review. Also, because the study looked only at COVID patients' brains shortly after being infected, the long-term effects are not clear. A wave of American tourists could soon head to Europe. The European Union recommended its nations open the borders up to help tourism industries bounce back following lockdowns. Each country makes its own COVID restrictions. Alcohol consumption in the U.S. hit a near two-decade high in 2020. The International Wine and Spirits record, which tracks world beverage trends, says alcohol in the U.S. was consumed in 2020 at the highest level since 2002. The pandemic and wider choices were key factors. Consumers wanted flavors in alcoholic beverages. Wine resonated with many in lockdowns. Spirits such as whiskeys, agave-based, and cognac grew the fastest since 1990. And cocktails grew by more than 52%. The spirits record says more moderate sales will return over the next 5 years. Poet and author Maya Angelou, astronaut Sally Ride, and Cherokee Nation leader Wilma Mankiller are among female trailblazers whose likenesses will appear on the quarter. The new 4-year American Women Quarters program celebrates women's accomplishments and contributions to the United States development and history, according to the U.S. Mint. Under the program, up to 5 new designs will be issued each year from 2022 to 2025. Still ahead, the monster trucks come to northeastern Oklahoma, and area volunteers roll up their sleeves and get their hands dirty on this United Way Day of Action.
Heavy Dealer Today.
It's Friday, which means it's time for a monster truck rally. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Outlaw Nationals is in Miami, Oklahoma at the Ottawa County Fairgrounds. Look at that. Around a dozen monster trucks, including the fire-breathing Megasaurus, showed up. Big crowd, too. Have you ever wondered what it actually takes to successfully drive one of those massive monster trucks? Well, KOIM's Mike Mahoney found out.
Think you have what it takes to drive a monster truck in a packed arena? The event coordinator of the O'Reilly Auto Parts Outlaw Nationals isn't so sure.
You have to actually be born with some talent if you're going to do any good. I mean, anybody can try it,
but not succeed.
And if you're going to get behind the wheel of a monster truck, it doesn't hurt to start learning at a young age. That was the case for 20-year-old Zach Garner, driver of the Wildside monster truck for the Outlaw Nationals.
They found one for sale, and so Dad went and bought it. And then it went from that to me just thinking putting tire pressure and putting air in tires is amazing, just working my way up, starting to help crew, be a crew chief, and then work my way into the driver's seat.
You might look at one of these Titanic trucks and think, how hard could it be to drive one?
You just don't go out there and mash the gas. Every single ramp has a different technique to hit it, when to let off the gas, when to hit the brakes, when to get back in the gas. And that's a big part of it.
But Zach says after driving for 2.5 years, piloting a monster truck comes as natural to him as riding a bicycle. And that's good, since Zach likes to open the show with some impressive tricks.
So we started off the show with the wheelie competition. I normally like to stand it up on the front 2 tires and walk it back and forth, maybe drag the hood a little bit and then set it down and either do that or do a reverse popper. So I basically pull up on a jump and put in reverse and back up to the rear bumper and go from there.
In Miami, Oklahoma, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
Yeah, wow. If you missed tonight's Monster Truck show at the Miami Fairgrounds, you can still check them out tomorrow. The show goes from 7:30 p.m. to about 10:30. More than 250 volunteers in Pittsburgh and Joplin take part in the United Way's annual Day of Action. This year, those volunteers put in work at the Pittsburgh YMCA and the Children's Center in Joplin. At the Y, they did some painting, and they got their hands dirty at the Children's Center pulling weeds in the surrounding flower beds.
After the last year and having virtual projects last year, our volunteers are having a blast. They are just out there having fun and enjoying the experience of being out in our communities.
Volunteers today tackled more than 25 projects for 18 area nonprofits. Doug Heddy's up next with his complete forecast, and later we're going to meet a couple of Joplin Outlaws who traveled a long way to play ball in the 4 states.
You're winning at life.
Well, of course, it turned out to be another hot, another humid day for us today. Really, it's been the past 2 weeks that we've had to deal with the heat and the humidity, but especially the humidity this week with our temps into the 90s all week long and heat indices right around 100 degrees. Very typical for the summer months, not extremely typical for June. This is a little bit more July-like for us, which is kind of a little bit scary, but at least we are going to get some relief from the heat. Indigo sky went down again. That is interesting. It's done that to me twice tonight. All right, 83 in Nevada, 84 in Anderson, 81 in Miami, 82 in Pittsburgh, 84 in the other states. So it's after 10 o'clock and it's still sitting low to mid 80s. In fact, we still have heat indices 85 to 90, and it's due to our humidity. Look how high our humidity is. This is our dew points, 70 to 75 degrees. That's pushing the top of the scale. So that's muggy to soupy range, and that's where we're going to sit as we go into Saturday, also on Sunday as well. Then we'll start to see a little bit of relief. Clear skies up top, looks good. Currently outside sitting at 80. South winds 5 to 10. Humidity is at 79%. Not much going on here. We have one little thunderstorm right around Table Rock, just one little isolated guy. That was it. Everybody else has been dry all day long. We got thunderstorms, Illinois, stretching into northern parts of Missouri, back through parts of Colorado. These are mainly going to stay north the next 2 days, dropping south. We got a tropical system about ready to make landfall near New Orleans, not a hurricane, not even really a wind maker, just a tremendous rain maker for the southeastern parts of the U.S. And then our main focus has been this big area of high pressure. This is what has made us hot, humid, and fairly dry all week long. It is starting to break down a bit. So that's going to give us some relief by the time we head into Sunday night and Monday. The weekend's still going to be hot. Thunderstorms to our north tonight. We're fine, we stay dry. Heat up again tomorrow. We're going to go into the mid 90s, very similar to what we have seen over about the past 4 or 5 days. 72 to start, 90 by noon, high temp right around 95. A little breezy, south winds at about 10 to 15. Tomorrow night, we get more thunderstorms to our north. Again, we mainly stay dry. These are going to be along the I-70 corridor. As we go into Sunday, there's a slight chance we could get a random shower early, but I really think most of Sunday, hot and humid again. And of course, this is Father's Day. Then Sunday night, look at the thunderstorms that start to blow up. Some of these could be a little bit stronger. maybe even low-grade severe. We'll get some scattered thunderstorms in here Sunday night and into Monday morning, and then that's when we'll start to cool things back off. But again, for the weekend, heat indices near 100 tomorrow. Heat indices 100 to about 103 by the time we head into Sunday. Once we get this cold front through by Monday morning, Monday looks great. Tuesday looks great. We will start to warm back up late next week, but in general, we get 2 or 3 days of really nice weather conditions, especially for late June. 95 tomorrow, 95 on Father's Day, 80 on Monday. Some morning showers and thunderstorms, overnight lows into the 50s, 82 on Tuesday. We do get back into the 90s late next week, but at least we get to see a nice little stretch of well-deserved 80s after all the 90s.
Yeah, 2 or 3 days of that will be welcome for sure. Thanks, Doc. Another reminder, Father's Day is this Sunday, and if you're going to be in the Joplin area that day, you should know the dads will get free admission to the Schiffer-Decker Aquatic Center on Sunday. Doug told us how hot it's going to be. All you need to do is purchase a child's admission between 1 and 6 p.m. Then again, dads get in free. Still ahead, Kansas City hosts its series opener against Boston, and we're going to take a closer look at how the 3 Outlaws players from Hawaii are making Joplin their home for the summer. Danny Terzer has it all next.
Doug Hetty has earned the
The Outlaws have attracted talent from all over the country to play ball in Joplin this summer, some from nearby and others much farther from home. We caught up with 3 players from Hawaii to learn their thoughts on a summer in the 4 states. For 3 athletes on the Outlaws roster, coming to Joplin, Missouri for the summer meant entering a big unknown.
My first question to him was like, where's the Mink League? Like, what is the Mink League?
These Hawaiians have never been this far east.
At first I thought it was Kansas, so I looked into Kansas.
I had no clue about anything in Missouri or anything close to. I actually went to Oklahoma one time, but I didn't know it was close.
Upon arrival, some differences really stood out.
On our island, every house, everything is bunched together as close as possible. Over here, everything is more spaced out. It's relaxed. In Hawaii, we're used to eating a lot of rice. And up here, you guys got I think it's called rice pilaf and all that kind of stuff. Potatoes, we're really used to eating a lot of white rice. I think it's called sticky rice up here. Some of the boys mentioned.
As for the community, they are impressed.
Of being in this atmosphere. Everyone that comes out to Joe Becker Stadium is a lifelong fan probably. They love us out here. They love to see us play every night. And I got into one game and that was crazy, just pitching in front of everybody on opening day.
The competition in the Mink League is strong, and the opportunity to improve is theirs to take.
Out here getting all these innings, I hope that I'll be able to dial in more new things, work on my craft, and go back into Hawaii next year a better pitcher.
Despite the many differences, the experience has been positive.
I was just kind of had an open mind to, what the area was. I was just excited to play baseball. I think it's exceeded my expectations as far as, the environment, the fans, the team we got going.
Joplin is in action tonight at home, wrapping up a series against Chillicothe. The Outlaws ran away with Game 1, winning 16-6, and tonight they'll look for the sweep. First inning, Jeremiah Kennedy with the strikeout, plus the throw out at third. The Mudcats lead by 1, though. Bottom of the inning, the throw here to second is high, and that will allow Logan Klein to slide home. Game tied up at 1. Then Jack O'Brien takes this one deep into center. It's a ground rule double, and that plates another. Outlaws with the lead through 4 complete innings. Mudcats responding though, Josh Swinehart. This ball drops in center, and the runner from third scores. Outlaws bust this one open. Not 1 but 2 7-run innings get them the 16-6 victory. In the majors, the Cardinals saw their 3-game win streak snapped on Thursday in a 4-0 shutout loss to the Braves. Tonight is Game 2 of a 4-game series in Atlanta. St. Louis scores first, but it goes downhill from there. 9 unanswered runs. And the Braves breeze by the Cardinals 9-1. Ozzie Albies goes 3 for 5 with 3 runs and 3 RBI. The Royals are returning after a day off, aiming to snap a 6-game skid. Series opener with the Red Sox at Alberti Mondesi. Whacks a monster 3-run homer, and the Royals with a 5-3 lead in the 8th. Now that's a look at sports. We'll be back with more news after this.
Take time now to honor a local veteran, Captain James Hurt. The Pittsburgh native served in the U.S. Army, and we are proud to salute Captain James Hurt. He's tonight's 4th-state hero. Rosie the Riveter is headed to space. Yesterday, Boeing announced it's sending a batch of commemorative Rosie coins to the International Space Station on board its CST-100 Starliner. The coins honor the nearly 19 million American women who worked in the aerospace industry as men fought in World War II. Also part of the load, flags of 14 historically black colleges and universities, as well as small pennants and other items representing the schools. It's going to be about 760 pounds of cargo flying inside the Starliner's crew module when it launches on July 30th. Nice memento tributes.
Yeah, absolutely.
The weather's going to stay hot for a couple more days.
It is. It's going to be a hot weekend. High temps into the mid-90s for us tomorrow, and then also on Sunday. Heat indices 100 to 103, so if you are going to be outside, be careful in the mid to late afternoon. But some thunderstorms Sunday night into Monday morning. Quite a bit cooler. Monday and Tuesday, nice relief and a nice Father's Day presence for all the fathers out there because it's been so hot.
Even if it's a day late. Danny, how about a final sports note?
Well, the Hawaii guys did say that the weather here is the one thing that's a little bit reminiscent of home, so that was funny.
Yeah, but we don't get those ocean breezes here. It's probably cooler in Hawaii.
Right, or the beach to jump into.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget Dads on Sunday. Let's take care of ourselves and each other and make it a great weekend.
If you see news happening, tell us about it.